Welcome to Quilts and Other Happy Accidents. I'm here at the campground, and today I'm going to share not only this beautiful scenery, but the projects I take to the campground, including my sewing machine, and some of the quilts that we travel with. Here I am in my comfy camping chair, and I want to show you what's in Sherri's Busy Box. Sherri's Busy Box is a small box that is also a cat litter box. But that's okay because it's just the right size when you come camping. Now we have a 21-foot self-contained little travel trailer, so it's very comfortable. Um, Bedroom, bathroom, sink. Uh, it does all the things we need to do, and it keeps us dry when it's raining. But everything in a RV or a travel trailer has to do with economy of space and necessity. Well, keeping me busy at the campground is absolutely a necessity. In days gone by, we would have gone to see sights, we would have hiked, we would have, who knows what we would have done. But those days are past. Now we just really enjoy getting out of town and having the quiet of the country and watching the critters. I mean, this week we've seen a group of 9 deer wander through grazing the campground. We've seen turkeys, lots of birds. It's a lovely little campground. It's out away from the city. So, Sherri's Busy Box. Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever shared with you that I dabble with embroidery. I am not very good at it because I don't do it very often. But sometimes in the evening, you just want a small job you can pull out and work on easily. And this is the sort of thing that fits in a Ziploc bag that has all your instructions and your embroidery floss and is just perfect for keeping in the camper to keep my hands busy. I also bring orphan blocks that have been put together in different ways. This is 2 orphan blocks, and I've put 2 layers of cotton batting between them, stitched them together to make a little trivet or a little hot pad just for a quick use. I keep these because, well, we're not good at backing or parking sometimes, and sometimes we need some help around the campsite for a variety of reasons. Campers are enormously kind and generous people. They never let us, you know, give them money or anything. But if I have a little handmade something that they can choose, so I keep hot pads, I keep coffee cozies, things like that, just as a thank you gift to our good neighbors when we need a little help. Now, keeping track of your notions when you're at a campsite or in a small space is really important. And so I have this lovely little bag. It zips completely closed. It's a nice size because it doesn't take up a lot of space. And in here, oh, looky there. I have some extra pins. I have my little snippers. I have a couple of different neutral cotton. Ooh, the wind's starting to pick up. A couple of little cotton threads. I've got my beeswax. I've even got a chalk pencil in here. So really perfect for holding things together for handwork. And again, economy of space. It all fits in my little busy box. This is a quilt shop not far from here. And this is actually what I have some small projects in ready to go. If I feel like I want to get the sewing machine out, my dad is a veteran and is very patriotic. And for Father's Day, what I have done is I've made some little placemats. This fabric actually comes out of a quilt where I made a Bethlehem Star or Lone Star for my son Alex, who was also in the Army Reserves. And I had lots of it left, but it was all cut at a 45-degree angle. So I've had to figure out how to put it together and make it useful. So I've got these ready to go to make some placemats for Dad if I decide to get my sewing machine out and work on another project. Depend on the wind and the weather more than anything. Um, Finding a spot for the sewing machine in the camper is a little bit tricky. It's possible, and I have done it, but it's a little bit tricky. It's easier if I can set up out here. The wind's starting to pick up. I'm not sure I'll be able to get the sewing machine out. But if I do decide to get the sewing machine out, I have brought with me my dryer sheets that I am using to make crazy blocks. And I have no idea how many of these I've made. I've made several since I've been here. But that's why this box is actually here. This is actually my small scrap box from home. And because it is the perfect size to tuck in the corner of a small camper or RV space, it is what I call my busy box. I do like keeping my hands busy. We don't watch a lot of TV or do things like that when we're out here. We just enjoy being here. And right now the house is under construction, so getting away from all the noise and the mayhem is really helpful. By the way, I need to show you how I bring my sewing machine up. This is a carry-on size suitcase that fits my Janome perfectly. It works for storage at home when I'm not using it. It keeps it nice and clean and tucked away. It has some zippered pouches so I can hold my scissors and some of my larger things. And again, perfect size when you're talking about a camper or RV with limited space. It's another beautiful morning. I'm up early at the campground. And as I'm sitting here watching the sunrise and enjoying the fresh air, I actually had the opportunity to watch a brave little robin catch his breakfast. This next chapter in this video is about the quilts that I keep in the camper and where the fabrics came from and some of the stories of our adventures. In fact, I'm going to share the story of how quilting brought my husband and I together. He won my heart. Stay tuned. Well, it's a cool and cloudy morning at the campsite, but it's the least windy day we've had in quite a while. So I decided to get a couple of my quilts out that we even take camping with us. I don't know if you can really see this. Probably it doesn't really look like it goes together well or was well planned. And that's because it wasn't. I just bought this fabric when we went to Hawaii for our first anniversary. So when you're visiting a place you don't know and you're trying to figure out, oopsies, um, how to find fabric shops, well, it was an adventure. I mean, it just added to the fun that we had on this trip. Let me zoom in and show you some of these fabrics and what I did with them. So you can see they're quite variable, but very distinctive Hawaiian type prints. And I did just a meander with a green thread over the central portion. And then I quilted it kind of piano key style along the border. I did add this black fabric to kind of break up some of the color and the chaos. We actually keep this on our bed in the camper, and you can see the quilting better on the back. Now, pretty much everything I do in quilting is self-taught. I just decide to do it and I do it. But I did think to sign this one. It was fabric from March 2007. Let's zoom you in a little more to see this quilting. Yeah, the quilting shows much better. So you can see my meander. And I was just learning at that point to do my own quilting. And there's the piano key on the sides. I don't even really recall what kind of batting is in it. I do know this is a really warm quilt, and we're always glad to have it when those unexpected cool fronts come through. So I don't know when I made this quilt, but it was some years later, between 2007 and 2012. And you can see it's a tumbling block pattern, and it is so scrappy. And I truly made it just because the scraps were taking over my sewing room. And I decided to make a quilt for the camper. And this is how it came out. Now you may recognize this coco pele border. As I said, we've been to the Southwest. As I said, we've been to the Southwest many times and lived there for a while. Love the Southwest, and if you go there, you cannot go to a quilt shop without tripping over coco pele fabric. I also used this fabric in a bed quilt and featured it as blocks. And really, this quilt tells the story of our travels. Let me zoom you in and I'll tell you about some of these fabrics. So this quilt really tells the story of our travels through fabric. Lots of coco peles in here. Here's Hawaiian fabric, more Southwest fabric. I bought this fabric when we went to Albuquerque to the International Balloon Fiesta. Now this one and this one is the fabric out of my grandmother's clothing fabric that I worked into this quilt. This red This red is from Hawaii, from our first anniversary. This occasional Betty Boop fabric. The first Christmas Bill and I were together, he wanted a Christmas stocking to hang up, and Betty Boop is his favorite. So Betty Boop made it in this quilt because it was on his Christmas stocking. There's some more of my grandmother's fabric, more of the fabric from Albuquerque. Now my binding here is both very narrow, but is also very scrappy, where I use the leftovers from the blocks. Let me show you the quilting in this now. I am a self-taught quilter all the way from the piecing to the free motion quilting. This was a great quilt to practice different free motion styles. And you can see here I was doing some echo quilting just around the coco peles as they dance along. And then I chose to put these swirls in between the coco peles because it reflected this border, and I even quilted in this. If you saw this quilting, it is very uneven, but it doesn't matter. It holds the quilt together, and this is a camping quilt anyway. Great practice. And this quilt serves its purpose because it's on the sofa in the camper, which means I can wash it very easily and it keeps the dirt off and the dust down in the upholstery. So then when it comes to the tumbling blocks, I just did free motion quilting going from the inside of one tumbling block to the inside of the other one and just kind of zigzagged this all the way through. So even though they're relatively straight lines, it was completely free motion. And talk about great practice. Oh, I have to show you this fabric. Do you see this lovely yellow tulip fabric here? This tulip fabric was in a fat quarter bundle that Bill gave me early on in our dating life. I was supposed to meet him at a winery for just a drink, and then we were going to go to dinner. And my life was extremely busy back then, as life can be. And I had to cancel on him. And when I saw him next, he gave me a fat quarter bundle, a bottle of wine, and a rose. I know, everybody watching this went, "Aw." Yep, I was pretty much done after that, so he got me in many ways. But well, there you have it. Now you've seen Sherri's busy box. I have some projects in mind for all those crazy blocks, so watch for that in future videos. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed sharing a little bit of my camping adventures. Thanks so much for watching.